Hello fellow travelers, my name is SG and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be going through Dante's Inferno Canto 4. We did Canto 3 last week and it did really well, so I'm hoping this one does just as good. Last time we saw Dante and Virgil, they were in the outer levels of hell, reaching down into the first level. In this chapter we will go through the first level and see how that plays out. Alright, let's get started, shall we? Broke the deep lethargy within my head. A heavy thunder so that I started, like to a person whom by force is awakened. And round about I moved my rested eyes, uprisen, erect, and steadfastly I gazed, to recognize the place wherein I was. True is it, that upon the verge I found me, off the abyssal valley dolorous, and the gathers thunder and infinite ululations. Obscure, profound it was, and nubious, so that by fixing on its depths my sight, nothing whatever I discerned therein. Let us descend now into the blind world, began the poet, palled utterly. I will be first, and thou shalt second be. And I, who his colour was aware, said, How shall I come if thou art afraid, who art wont to be a comfort to my fears? And he to me, the anguish of the people who are below here in my face depicts that pity which for terror thou hast taken. Let us go on, for the long way impels us. Thus he went in, and thus he made me enter the foremost circle that surrounds the abyss. There, as it seemed to me from listening, where lamentation none, but only sighs, that tremble made that everlasting air, and this arose from sorrow without torment, which the crowds had the many were and great, of infants and of women and of men. To me, the Master good, thou dost not ask what spirits these which thou behold are. Now will I have thee know, ere thou go farther, that they sinned not, and if they merit had, 'tis not enough because they had not baptism, which is the portal of the faith thou holdest. And if they were before Christianity, in the right manner they adored not God, and among such as these am I myself. For such defects, and not for other guilt, lost are we and are only so far punished, that without hope we live on in desire. Great grief seized on my heart when this I heard, because some people of much worthiness I knew who in that limbo were suspended. Tell me, my master, tell me, thou my lord, began I, what desire of being certain of that faith which cometh every error, came any one by his own merit hence, or by authors who are blessed thereafter? And he who understood my covert speech replied, I was a novice in this state, when I saw Heath come a mighty one, with sigh of victory incarnate. Hence he drew forth the shade of the first parent, and that of his son Abel, and of Noah, of Moses the lawgiver, and the obedient, Abraham patriarch and David king, Israel with his father and his children, and Rachel for whose sake she did so much, and others many he made them blessed. And thou must know that earliest than these never were any human spirit saved. We cease not to advance because he spake, but still we're passing onward through the forest, and the forest, say I, of thick crowded ghosts. Not very far as yet our way had gone. They sighed the summit, when I saw a fire that overcame a hemisphere of darkness. He were a little distant from it still, but not so far that I in part discerned not. The honorable people held that place. O thou who art honest, every art and science, who may be there, which such great honor have, that from the fashion of the rest imparts them, and he to me, the honorable name, the sounds of them above there in thy life. Winds grace in heaven that so advance them. In the meantime a voice was heard by me. All honorable be in the pre-eminent poet. His shade returns again, that was departed. After the voice was ceased and quiet was for mighty shades I saw approach us. Semblance had they nor sorrow nor glad. To say to me began my gracious master, him with the falchion in his hand, behold, who comes before thee, even as their lord. And that one is Homer, poet sovereign. He who comes next is Horace, the satirist. The third is Ovid, and the last is Lucan. Because to each of these with me applies the name that solitarily voices proclaimed, they do me honor, and in that do well. Thus I beheld assembly to the fair school of that lord of the song preeminent, who over the others like an eagle soars. When they together had discoursed somewhat, they turned to me with sighs of salutations, and on beholding this my master smiled, and more of an honor still, much more they did me in that they made me one of their own band, so that the sixth was I, mid so much wit. Thus we went on as far as to the light, things saying 'tis becoming to keep silent, as was the saying of them where I was. We came upon a noble castle afoot, 7 times eclipsed with softy walls, defended round by a fair rivulet. This was passed over even as firm ground. Though portals 7 I entered with these sages, we came into a meadow of fresh verdure. People were there with solemn eyes and slow, of great authority in their countenance. They spake but seldom, and with great voices, that we withdrew ourselves upon one side, into an opening luminous and lofty, so that they all of them were visible. There opposite upon the green enamel were pointed out to me the mighty spirits whom to have seen I feel myself exalted. I saw Electra with companions many, mongst whom I knew both Hector and Aeneas. Caesar in amour with the gerfalcon eyes. I saw Camilla and Penthesilea on the other side, and saw the king Latinus, whom was Ladvina his daughter sat. I saw that Brutus who drove Tarquine forth, Lucertia, Julia, Marcia, and Cornelia, and saw alone apart that the Soldan, whom I had lifted up my brow, and little the master I beheld of those who know, sit with his philosophic family. All gaze upon him, and all do him honor. There I beheld both Socrates and Plato, who nearer him before the others stand. Domitius, who puts the world on chance. Diogenes, Anaxagoras, and Thales, Zeno, Empedocles, and Herculetus. Of qualities I saw the good collection. High Discordius and Ulfius saw I, Tully and Livy, and moral Seneca, Lucida, Geonica, Ptolemy, Galen, Hippocrates, Evicena, Everios, who the great comment made. I cannot all of them portray in full, because so drives me onward to the long theme, that many times the word comes short of fact. The sixfold company in two divides. Another way my sapient guide conducts me forth from the quiet in the air that trembles, and to a place I come where nothing shines. Alright, now that we've read the section, let's talk about it, shall we? First, I would like to say I'm sorry if I butchered some names towards the end. There's so many to look up, and I know I must have gotten a great portion of them wrong. So please bear with me. I think this is a good chapter. This is Dante actually entering into hell. Well, not entering into hell, but being in hell. This is limbo, where they're said to be the unbaptized, and of course scientists, writers, artists. This is what the old school church believed for a long time, that anybody who was an artist would often question God and thereby would not be welcomed into heaven. Not quite hell worthy, but they would be there to remain in limbo, where there really isn't torture, they're more just waiting for nothing kind of situation. And everyone that was named at the end, like Plato and Socrates, are all philosophers or writers of their time, all greats of their time. So, yeah, that's pretty much how this chapter went. I'll be back next week to do the next one. I hope you all enjoyed it. I would like to thank all of you for the 50 subscribers I got, due to much in part over the last Dante's video. And I would like to thank anybody who saw that. I really do appreciate it. It gives me more encouragement to continue on. And yeah, that'll be about it. And see you guys Wednesday, where I'll be here with another review of some kind. Alright, thank you, and see you later.